Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport and Sportskeeda for today's game preview of Manchester City versus Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final on the Saturday, and it's quite a game, really, quite an occasion really for City as well. The quadruple is still very much alive for them after their win in the Premier League at the weekend, 2-0 at Fulham, and the favourites to win the FA Cup as well, and they've been quite, some would say, a bit of a mixture journey with some of the sides that they played against. 7-0 against Rotherham in the third round, 5-0 against Burnley in the fourth, 4-1 victory at Newport, the same Newport that did beat Leicester earlier on in the tournament, and then a 3-2 victory against Swansea after going 2-0 down in that game, only to draw it back to win 3-2, cause of about potentially of a goal that shouldn't have counted in that one. But it's a bit of a mixture of a journey, and City really not had a lot of strong opponents to go through in order to get to the semi-final stages, have they?
No, they haven't. And actually, on paper, obviously, they've had a really easy run. They have made it difficult for themselves at times, especially against Swansea. But actually, they haven't been tested to the full degree.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to. Obviously, they're going for the quadruple. So they know they have to throw everything they can at this to get through. But will they go in a bit complacent? I'm not sure. Especially
with Champions League around the corner as well. That side against Tottenham's actually the following week. So they'll have one eye on that, I think, as well, for certain. But, a player that has been playing exceptionally well for City this season, sometimes doesn't get the credit that he deserves, is Bernardo Silva. We've seen Sterling and we've seen Aguero score the goals, but Bernardo Silva in that midfield, when Fernandinho and Kevin De Bruyne have been out, Bernardo Silva's been forever present and playing really well for City. He's been the driving force.
Yeah, absolutely solid, and he's what they need there just to keep them going and keep them steady. And we'll expect more of the same on Saturday.
Yeah.
It'll make it tough for Brighton because they know they're up against a very solid midfield, and they're coming off the back of a loss, aren't they, at the weekend?
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough for Brighton, but they've sort of got nothing to lose anymore, have they?
No, they certainly don't at the moment. I mean, they're just above the relegation zone in the Premier League, so I don't think they'll get relegated, but Chris Hughton's done a good enough job in order to keep in the Premier League for another season. 1-0 loss though at the weekend against Southampton, so they did lose, but they might have had already one eye on this semi-final in the FA Cup. 3-1 win against Bournemouth in the third round, 0-0 against West Brom in the fourth, only for the replay to finish 3-1 at West Brom, so a good result for them to go to there. 2-1 win against Derby in the fifth round, and then a 2-2 draw at Millwall in the quarterfinals, and they went on to win that 5-4 on penalties. If you remember that game, the goalkeeper had a blunder from a free kick that came in from quite some distance and let it go through his hands, and now they're into the semi-finals after winning the penalty shootout as well. Do you expect Brighton to go full out in this game and really go for it in order to try and win this game and go to the FA Cup final? Or do you think maybe they're still looking at that relegation zone and thinking Cardiff could potentially still catch them? I
think they'll go all out, and I hope they go all out. With the best one in the world, Cardiff have got a lot of work to do to catch them, and Brighton would be silly really to worry about it too much. I think they might as well go all out for this and give it a bash.
Yeah, well, how do you think the game's going to unfold then? Do you think City will do what they have been doing quite recently and start off really strong and attacking and see if they can get the results secured down as early as possible for them to be able to rest players for the Champions League ahead? That's
exactly how I see that City will play it. I think they'll do that because I think they'll be hoping that Brighton are going to try and come out and go for it, and they'll just exploit it, get them on the break.
Hit them on the counter-attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it's going to go. Brighton are going to have to be so disciplined, but I think they're not going to get it.
At the same time, though, when you're playing against City, you can't be complacent either. You can't wait for your chances. You have to take them as they present themselves.
Absolutely.
And
because there won't be many.
If Brighton don't do that, then I don't think they could potentially go through. Earlier on in the season, City won this game in the Premier League by 2-0. Sterling and Aguero getting the goals. They've yet to play the reverse fixture because that will be after this FA Cup tie in the few remaining games that we have in the Premier League. But what's your scoreline prediction for this FA Cup semi-final? Do you think City are going to go through and continue on the quadruple dream, or Brighton going to burst their bubble?
Oh, I think City are going to go through it. Unfortunately, I think it'll probably be 3-1. I think Brighton might get a consolation goal. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be really interested because I do still think there's the magic there.
There's a glimmer of the FA Cup. You got to hope for a glimmer of the FA Cup to come through. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with your scoreline prediction as well. I think City are going to win this 3-1, and I think they're going to go quite comfortably. getting off the strong start and securing the result early on, potentially going up by 2 by half-time and then seeing the rest of the game out that way. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory as well for City in this tie.